The guesses are flying around the studio. I really like the question. Dan Graziano, who is the highest earning quarterback in NFL history with 0 playoff wins?
Neek has an objection. He doesn't like this question because it insinuates what? That somebody made too much money?
Is overpaid.
I don't appreciate that.
We don't talk about that.
He won't use the word overpaid.
No.
More than fairly compensated.
Because I mean, you could lose a playoff game for any number of reasons. That have nothing to do with you and how much money you make. Everybody's going to say Kirk Cousins, but I was at the game he won, the playoff game in New Orleans. So obviously I know it's not him. My guess is Derek Carr. Is it Derek Carr?
That's right. That is unbelievable. You are incredibly good at this.
Way to go, Derek.
I have the top 5 in front of me here. It's Derek Carr, then Kyler Murray.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Then Justin Herbert.
Wow, already.
Carson Wentz and Sam Bradford.
Carson Wentz, because
That's
he
the
was
top
on
5.
teams that won playoff games.
Graziano, sneaky up 11-4, so you're up an even touchdown on that. And that brings us to another quarterback who has won a playoff game and has made a bunch of money. We'll play Believe It or Not. Dominique, we'll start with you and the Colts reaching an agreement with Daniel Jones yesterday to bring him back on a 2-year, $88 million contract. Do you believe it or not that it was the right move to extend Daniel Jones?
I believe it. I can't go with the full Jeff Saturday believe it because I don't believe it that hard, but I do believe that they're in a situation. They passed on a number of available quarterbacks. They're stuck. I don't think you play with your quarterback on a tag franchise or transition or otherwise. I think you pay him if he's going to be your starter. He's going to be their starter despite coming off injuries.
There's his number. He's made $172 million in his career. It was 122 up until this year. At least $50 million are guaranteed after signing the extension yesterday. I know you don't like to use the word overpaid.
He has won a playoff game.
He has won a playoff game. That's correct. Do you know who doesn't mind using the word overpaid?
Who's that?
Chris Mad Dog Russo.
Oh, that's shocking.
Here's what he had to say about this yesterday on First Take.
He hasn't earned this. This is ridiculous. Most of your quarterbacks who make the huge money, Mahomes, Allen, Stafford, at least they're great. Lamar, at least they're great. Burrow, at least they're great quarterbacks. I mean, $50 million for Daniel Jones. Please. Tell me that's that's crazy. I mean, you know what? Play Richardson. Get freaking Gardner Minshew from Arizona. Play him. That's absurd.
There's only one of them, guys. I'll be honest. God made one, and the world couldn't handle another one. That dude is electric.
Okay, so what? Is he right? Is he right?
Hell no.
When you see Daniel Jones getting paid an amount of money that, like, we talked about, like what
salary cap's $300 million.
That's the point. I get that.
And also, they have decided that he is going to be their starting quarterback. You know what you pay starting quarterbacks? That money. I could understand the argument saying that maybe he shouldn't be our starting quarterback, but you don't play with your quarterback on a tag. It's not something I think you should do. I know the Cowboys have done it. I thought it was stupid then. You sign the quarterback because he's your quarterback. Maybe you could argue they can make another move. They should have made another move, but they didn't make that move, so you pay them. That's the part that I don't get.
This is a plan they made in January. Like when they decided to bring back the coach and the GM. Like this worked for 8 games, 9 games, whatever it was. It worked at an incredibly high level.
Yeah.
Let's try and get that back and do that again. You can make counter arguments. Oh, he's not going to be the same. He's coming off this injury, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe, but they feel like they have a proof of concept on an offense that was the best or one of the best in the league over the first half of last season, and that they can get that back.
He might not be right, but he ain't wrong.
Yeah.
And here is my thing. I agree. Early on in the season, for the first half of the season, it did look that way. But think about around the time we got to the Pittsburgh Steelers game and we started to see some of those old Daniel Jones issues start to appear again. I'm not saying that Daniel Jones won't come back and play well. The thing that makes this a good deal is it's basically a 1-year deal. Right? This isn't something that you've tied yourself to Daniel Jones for future years in this deal. And for Daniel Jones, it's an opportunity to go prove that you deserve this money and re-up in the next year. I feel the way this was constructed was in favor of not only the team, but also Daniel Jones and the way they move forward.
Good deal both sides.
I also want to point out one thing that happened last year is Daniel Jones broke his leg.
Yes.
And continued to play football, which we think led to him popping his Achilles. So I respect that they're like that does not end up costing him, because for so many players, and it's a very football frame of mind, we always go back out there, we always put on a line, and most of the players who do that, the team is not then, I appreciate the fact that you sacrificed for it. I know that your play dropped off because of injury. I know that we believe you. I'm going to pay you because of that. Like, I respect that. It's hard for me to come out here and say that after he did that they do not owe him something. They owe him something.
Yeah. Let's get on to another team that still doesn't have a quarterback, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. RC, believe it or not, the Steelers should sign Kirk Cousins, who's now available, instead of waiting and seeing on Aaron Rodgers.
The Steelers should play with whatever quarterback makes them the worst.
Huh.
If that's Will Howard, go out there and play with Will Howard. If that's Kirk Cousins, go out there and play with Kirk Cousins.
Huh.
What you don't want to do is go get Aaron Rodgers and win 8, 9, 10 games again, right? At some point, they got to get out of quarterback purgatory. They can't figure it out. You just can't figure it out. And along with Mike Tomlin and all we said that was great about him never having a losing season, you also never got an opportunity to draft high enough to go get another Ben Roethlisberger. You never had a chance to be in a position where you could put a package of picks together and move high enough to where you get a guy that could be that next franchise starter. So don't go out here and just put a Band-Aid over this quarterback position thing again. You said, and I talked to people in the building, we went and got Mike McCarthy because of his success with the young quarterbacks. Right. Everybody talks about all this intangible stuff, all these good things that Will Howard has inside. Last I checked, it's more about what's on this right arm. But hey, I'm just a defensive player. If you think that Will Howard can be something in the future, but you may have to let him grow, I'd rather you play with him, get a veteran backup that can back him up. They can still be Mason Rudolph. Do not go get another old dude that's going to have you as an average team, and you're trying to make the same decision next year.
I like the idea of running with Will Howard because it suggests some sort of plan or at least a direction for the future. I think if RC was in that building and still on those teams, you would not be pushing for them to be as bad as possible.
I ain't that old.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think also they weren't bad when they got Ben Roethlisberger. And a lot of the teams in football who are the best now and have the best quarterbacks, not all of them had to bottom completely out. Like, I strongly, especially for a team which has the type of, like, culture and character that the Steelers have, I strongly believe or push back against the idea that they should, like, aim to be bad. But if you start Will Howard and you happen to be bad, go ahead and enter the draft.
But you also got to remember, though, when Ben was drafted, I want to say that team won 5 games that year. They actually were bad. All the people that screamed that Mike Tomlin needed to go, yeah, Bill Cowher had years where they were a bad team. They drafted 11th. It was also one of the best quarterback drafts of this millennium with Eli Manning, with Phillip Rivers, and Ben Roethlisberger fell to them. It's difficult to find that guy and still be good around him. But if you start Will Howard and he is a 6th-round draft pick, now you may have some other pieces together, but you'll get to draft in the top 10 where you can get a guy next year and what should be a good quarterback draft.
Or he's good.
And then you win anyway.
You win and you got draft picks.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, Roethlisberger was the 3rd quarterback taken in that class. He may wind up being the first one to get into the Hall of Fame. 14 games highlight the ESPN Plus NHL schedule tonight. Our featured matchup has Connor McDavid and the Oilers taking on the Stars at 8 Eastern. Use the ESPN app to watch. Coming up, back to the top. Ravens back out on Crosby. Smart move or missed opportunity? Did Baltimore actually improve by passing on the trade? We're breaking it all down on this Thursday as Get Up continues on ESPN.